How was it being a mom, like, to me?
It wasn't until your dad died that I realized that I didn't know who Peaches was. Because when I went to the doctor, she said, "Oh, you pregnant?" Like, no, I'm not.
Nothing happened.
Okay. And I said, "She been crying all night long. I ain't had no sleep. I don't know what to do with this baby." I'm like, "You need to come get her." How you think I did as a mother?
Stop telling my business. So, who were you before you had me?
Wow. That's a really interesting question, because when I first heard the thought, it was like, before I had you, I was just Peaches. Literally just in school, being Bruce's wife. I was Bruce's wife, and I focused on him, and I focused on the family. And then when I had you, I became Renita's mom, Bruce's wife. It wasn't until your dad died that I realized that I didn't know who Peaches was. So it became a discovery then of who I was. We married, I guess, at young, right out of college. So it was just beginning a career, taking care of other people's kids at the time. That's what I was doing. But I've discovered now who I am, the things I like, the colors I like, the foods I like. Before it was always focusing on you and your dad.
So how was your pregnancy with me?
My pregnancy itself was very easy. Part of it was because I didn't find out until I was in my second trimester.
Right.
There were no changes. There was nothing happening differently. And I just happened to have been going to the doctor. And your dad and I had decided in December that we were going to have a child the next year. But the expectation was never that we wouldn't get a chance to change our mind. Which we didn't get a chance to change our mind, because when I went to the doctor, she said, "Oh, you pregnant?" Like, no, I'm not, because nothing's changed. No. And what prompted me to go to the doctor was I started getting nauseated, because I was working a residential program at the time, and I was driving the van. And if I wasn't driving the van and somebody else was driving it, I would get sick. And I had never gotten sick before. So that's what prompted going to the doctor. So the pregnancy itself, your grandmother came down right towards the end. Well, I guess came up. We was in Pennsylvania. And that was easy because she was shocked at everything. And then she taught me so many things as she came up on what I was supposed to do and this, that, and the third. But actually, the pregnancy itself was real easy. Didn't have any ongoing pain. I did get gestational diabetes, so I had to take some shots, but they didn't bother me. The pregnancy itself was easy because I guess what was supposed to be the hard part, I ain't know about, so nothing was going on, so it became real easy.
Wait, so y'all decided in December? Did you go to the doctor in December?
No, I got pregnant in December. I went to the doctor in my second trimester.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then now your delivery was a little bit more difficult because I got sick the day that I was supposed to deliver. And then your heartbeat kept going in and out, so they did an emergency C-section. And your grandmother says nothing was happening. And they never told your dad that it was doing an emergency C-section. So he was all geared up to come in the room.
I'm ready.
Yeah. And then when they came there, told him, "Oh, Mr. Reed, ain't nobody told you the baby here." Oh, okay.
And it's the whole thing.
So bringing you back, because you didn't have a heartbeat when you came out. So them pushing to bring you back was the biggest thing. And your grandmother says you lifted your leg up. And she said ever since then, she gonna be fine. She was just praying.
And I lifted my leg up. And she just knew everything was gonna be all right.
And it was. They put you in my room. There was no complications, no difficulties at all. And we just went on with it.
So how was it raising me, being a mom to me? I know you were a working mom.
I was a working mom. Your dad was a working dad. So raising you as a mom, the first time I brought you home, because when I had you, I came back to Virginia because we was in Maryland. I came back to Virginia. Mama was here with me for 2 weeks, and then I went back home. I was scared to death. I cried all the way to Pennsylvania, and your dad kept looking at me like, "What is going on? I don't know what to do with this baby." I don't do this, baby. I don't know what to do with this. I got home, and your very first night, you cried the entire night. So I called my mom, and I said, she been crying all night long. I ain't had no sleep. I don't know what to do with this baby. I'm like, you need to come get her, because I don't know what to do with this baby. And she said to me, did you do the mummy wrap that I taught you? And I said, no. And she said, you need to do the mummy wrap. Girl, you was wrapped up from that day on. You ain't cried. You slept through the night. And then as you got older, your dad had to do a lot of things because my schedule was so back and forth and back and forth. So you did a lot of things with your dad, but it was a confidence in who you were. And I remember your dad asking me when you was about 3. He was about 3. And every time we would tell you do something, you would ask us questions about it. Wow. And you could barely talk, but you could ask us questions about it. And he said, I don't understand why we ask her questions. Why she not just doing what we tell her to do? I said, because she belongs to me. And she usually questions everything just like I do. So, and your grandmother and them was laughing because it's like, we told you she was going to drive you. But that was great about you because I never had to be concerned about you following people. My story about the sandbox, when you went into the sandbox, you always went in there on the outside of the sandbox with a cup, and you would cup the sand and throw it out. And it's the young lady and her child was in the sandbox, and they wanted you to come in and play with them so bad. And you said, no, thank you. And you kept right on with your little cup and your sand. And I'm sitting up there on the bench just laughing because I knew you were not going to do it. Then we go to McDonald's, and everybody going up in the balls, and they going up through the little thing that McDonald's had. And they're all up there clamming up, and you downstairs in the balls, looking down and just playing. And everybody's going, come on, really. That won't go happen.
I don't engage in foolishness.
That was not going to happen. So that was a confidence I had in that you were very assured of what you wanted to do, who you were, and nobody was going to push you into doing anything. That didn't mean you weren't going to make some crazy decisions. But you owned your decisions. You owned your behavior. You owned everything that you did. So when you told me, I'm not going to do that, you really meant I'm not going to do that. And no matter what consequence I came up with, you weren't going to do that. The corner, you played in the corner. Like, oh, these are my imaginary friends I got anyway.
Yes, I did.
So that doesn't matter.
No, it was not imaginary friends.
Okay, it was not imaginary friends. I was playing,
I would like do spider hands on the wall. I wasn't talking to anybody. It sounds crazy.
But yeah, that was good for me because of the way my schedule was, and because the way that your dad was. A lot of times you would be with other, and you had roles for people they were supposed to be in. So it was easy raising you because you saw all the different roles that people had, and you chose what you wanted to do. You said, Godmommy's going to cook, Mary's going to cook, Grandma's going to work, you're going to work. So the first time I tried to cook dinner, you looked at me and said, what you doing? I said, I'm cooking. No, we supposed to go out and eat. It's like, I can't cook.
Yikes. Sorry.
So yeah, raising you was pretty easy.
Okay.
So, how you think I did as a mother?
I mean, I think you did a good job. It's hard for me to say how you did as a mother because
I haven't gone anywhere.
Well, I don't know what a mother is supposed to be outside of you, outside of what you taught me, outside of what you. So it's hard for me to like say, oh, you are a good mother. I mean, you are, but it's hard for me to be saying like that is like there's some type of grading scale. You've given me a great example of a mom, of support, of caring, of love, of the biggest thing you showed me growing up was you can do both.
Okay.
You can work in your field and do what you want to do in your field and be a mom and not be absent. I never felt like you weren't there. Mom's at work, so I'm with daddy. And mama gonna come home and put me in the bed. Like, it's just, that's how it was. And weekends, you were here. So it wasn't like, I didn't miss that you weren't here because you were at work. So that taught me that I can do that. When it's time for me to have my family, that me and the way I work and my work ethic and everything I do won't hinder my ability to be a good mom. Okay. So it's like I would say that's the biggest thing that you showed me as a mom. I mean, yeah, with you as a mom. Also, I mean, there's other things, like you've taught me how to cook stuff. You've taught me you taught me how to cook, even though I told you when I was a kid that you weren't supposed to cook. You taught me how to cook. You still teach me how to do certain things. You taught me how to clean, what should be cleaned and stuff like that. I guess the societal roles of what a woman should be, you taught me that, and that it's okay for me not to follow society's roles of what a woman should be.
Yeah. I like that.
What did Grandma teach you growing up about Jesus, scriptures, anything like that?
It's funny because she never really told me scripture. She told me biblical principles. And I used to be concerned that I couldn't remember scripture. And then I realized that it was the principles that was more important than just the words. Knowing where the words are, knowing they're there, and being able to point them out is something you can always find. But it was really getting the principles. And the thing that she taught me the most was to love all people, to not judge people, to try as hard as you could, because you were always going to, it was what God saw. It wasn't what people saw. It was what God saw. And if what you were showing was something okay for him. She also taught me that I could be me no matter what, and I could still serve God. Perfection was something you strive for. And it's funny because I say all those things, and she never specifically said those words. There was one thing that she used to say all the time. Your dad, I'm adopted, and your dad was, your granddad was, he was drunk.
That's what I was going to say.
I can't even say he was drunk. So he would do things like, I would have to get his clothes out because he was going somewhere. And he would be drunk, and then he'd get in the car. And Mama's line was, God will always take care of fools and drunks. And your dad falls into both categories. And it was funny, but she didn't realize how much comfort that gave me, because in my mind, he was being foolish and he was a drunk. So when she told me he's going to always take care of people, I just got that. He was going to always take care of people. And what was funny was one particular day, your grandfather went to go somewhere. He stopped to get some gas, and he fell asleep at the steering wheel. And the people called the police because they couldn't wake him up to move the car. And what was funny was the police brought him home. And me and your grandmother went and got the car. And what was crazy was, in most instances, a black man behind the wheel, drunk, would have went to jail. Mm-hmm. And that was it's solidified, God will always take care of you. And that was the thing that she taught me the most. He will take care of you, and to accept and love people, and not judge. Even though I think sometimes she was judgmental. Yeah. So what did I instill in you?
Well, to start my morning with God. In middle school, the whole, let's all get in a circle and pray before you leave out the door. You have to remember learn Psalms 23, learn the Lord's Prayer, say the Lord's Prayer before you can leave out the door, all of that. When I was that age, it was worrisome. It was taxing. I was like, I just want to leave. But as I've grown, I noticed that you were teaching me, start your day with God. Whatever that is just the things that we were doing at the time. And I get it, because I was younger. You needed to teach me. So it was like, you can't just tell me to go pray, because I'm 12. So what's that going to do? How much prayer am I really going to do? So actually having me learn specific things to instill in me at that young age to start my day with God. And I still do, of course, to this day. And it doesn't mean that I didn't have any struggles with God over the years. I mean, I've had life happens. But that's something I never forgot, was to start my day with God.
So when you think of who you are today, and you think of who I am, What about me do you see in yourself?
I guess I would say that it would be my heart for people. I most definitely must have gotten that from you. So the way that I treat people, the way that I talk to people, the way that I accept people, all of those things came from being parented by you, watching you, being around you as you work with people, different people, all types of people, or just talk to people, random people that maybe even come up to the grocery store and you don't remember who they are. All of those things, but all of that is an example. Everything that you have, and of course, I guess you kind of know that when you become a mom, that everything you do is an example, but everything that you have done, the way you've lived your life and everything has just been an example to me. And so I've watched it. And of course, as I'm growing up, no idea that that's what's happening. Mm-hmm. But as I'm an adult and I look back, it's like all of these things come from just being around my mom, watching my mom, and just picking up on things of how you talk to people, how you treat people, because I guess it goes back to what you said that Grandma told you, is that God sees the way that you are treating other people, and it doesn't matter what other people think, it's what God thinks. So just continuing that and just knowing that I should. It's the golden rule, treat people like I want to be treated. And so that's just what I continue to do. So I guess I would say that's like the biggest thing I would say.
Okay.
So is there anything in me that you see that you feel like it's you, like you put it in there?
I would tell you that your desire to work with people surprised me. And part of it because I think there was a part of me that felt like my desire and, well, actually my gift of working with people, because from the time that I can remember, that's always what was going to happen. That was what God led me towards when I was in elementary, high school, and on up. I just knew that was what I was going to do, so I never questioned it. But I was concerned that me having to spend so much time with other people's people and other people's children would make you feel neglected more so and take away your desire for working with people, because it drained. It can be draining. And all the things and the hours that I have had to keep, and managing group homes and having to get up and go out there at 12 o'clock at night because the girls out at the food, and things like that. I always thought that would keep you from wanting to work with people because it had become so much a part of your growing up. So when you decided, and I see your love for people, and I see you with the youth now, and I see you doing those things. It's been weird coming from volunteering and volunteering and helping you as a child, and now having you lead me as an adult. It's been weird, and sometimes I'm taking a little back, but but that desire and that tenacity that you have to help people and to keep going, that's what has really surprised me. I've loved seeing that about you. As I've told you before, if I chose a best friend, it would be you. Because I look at the way you treat your friends, the way you treat people who you care about, and the way you treat people on a whole is so selfless. And at the same time, you've taught me to be selfish, because I have a tendency to put everybody before me. And one of the things that you taught me is it's okay to say no. And it's okay on just allowing people to experience their own things without letting them run into the door that they're going to hit them in the face. So some of those things, but it's just been amazing to watch you grow up as an adult and your love for humanity and people and just people's minds and the things you find out is funny to me, because I'm like, did we watching another documentary on somebody killing people? But it's all about you learning about them. So
stop telling my business. But all that stuff came from you anyway. So
yeah, I know. But I guess it's me realizing that it didn't hurt you. That what I was afraid was going to happen. And that goes back to trusting God. I knew this is what he wanted me to do. So I used to tell him, well, if you want me to do this, then that means you're going to take care of everything else. You know? So when people ask me, when did Renita start doing such and such? When did she stop sucking the pacifier? When her daddy told her she wasn't going to do it no more. And they said, how was the process? But when I got home, he told me. But you and him was so close and able to do so many things together. And you was a daddy's girl. And that was a good thing. You have done a lot of the things that I said I was going to do, but I didn't. I was going to get my license and my life turned in a different direction. I got married and then I started in my career after your dad I got out of the military. So I didn't get a chance to do all those things that I wanted to do. So you getting your license, you getting your master's, you working on your PhD were all things, but it wasn't just the accomplishments, it's also the way you accomplish the things you accomplish. You allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. When you was going to take your licensing test and your nervousness that was there, the fact that you were nervous just meant I realized the seriousness of this. But your second sentence was, but I know God wants me to do this, so he need to get it together because I'm too nervous right now. But the way you handled it all, and when you texted me and said, I passed the test, I was like so excited. But the person you've become and your appreciation for people and people on a whole, just acceptance of the people you see are out and around. When I see you with people who don't know you and you don't have a relationship with, and still the way you are there and nurturing as well. When I look at you with your godchildren and how nurturing you are and how you're telling the parents, okay, this is what we need to do and this is what's going on, and slowing them down, but and they appreciate that because it's not done as you doing something wrong. It's done as we in this together. When I said I was going to be a godmother, I meant I'm going to be a godmother. We're in this together. So whatever is needed, I'm looking at you and I'm amazed. And your ability to do things when I'm sitting there going, we can't do this. And you going, oh, we're going to do this. This is going to happen. And I'm looking, trying to figure out how is this happening? So it's not just, it's your faith that you have in what God has told you to do and what he's intended for you to do. And that it's okay to be you. That you don't have to change into somebody else in order to do what he's called you to do. And when the youth come to you with different subjects and they're talking about it, and their ability to just, okay, we just gonna say this. And your ability to still make them feel comfortable at the same time that you're telling them, now you know that don't make no sense. It's really, yeah, so I'm very proud of the woman that you are, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen as God continues to grow you, because I see it happening every day, and I just see the different things that are in you. And like when we're in, and you just come up with something, and you're like, oh, I just thought of that just now, and I'm thinking this is something you came up with. No, he just dropped it down there, and it's been so profound. What was it one?
Change your frame.
Yeah, change your frame. I really thought you had worked on that for a while. When you were telling the youth to change their frame. If it don't work, put it on a different frame. Just think, I thought, oh, okay, that works. So yeah, I'm very proud of the person that you are, the person you're becoming, the person that's gonna take over and do some things. Yeah.
I shot myself at that change your frame thing, man. I was like, that's crazy. I just came out. It was really great.
Yeah, that was good.
it was really
good.
great. I just came up with that.
Reese writing it down. Like I said, girl, she just thought of
that
it.
stuff like I came up like.